Hello everyone. I'll be discuss chapter 4 of tests and testing. This presentation discusses assumptions and consideration for psychological testing. It covers the following key points. There is an assumption that psychological traits and states exist and can be measured. Traits are enduring ways people will vary, while states are less enduring. Tests aim to predict non-test behavior, but have strengths and weaknesses. Competent examiners understand a test's limitations and appropriateness. Norms provide a reference for interpreting individual scores by comparing performance to a sample group. Good tests are reliable, valid, and have practical administration procedures that benefit society. Let's start with some assumptions about psychological testing and assessment. Assumption 1. Psychological traits and states exist. According to Guilford 1959, a trait has been defined as any distinguishable, relatively enduring way in which one individual varies from another. And according to Chaplin and others, states are also distinguish one person from another but are relatively less enduring. Psychological trait covers a wide range of possible characteristics. Construct, uninformed scientific concept developed or constructed to describe or explain behavior. Overt behavior refers to an observable action or the product of an observable action, including tests or assessment-related responses. The definition of traits and states we are using also refer to a way in which one individual varies from another. Ang assumption 1 ay nagsasaad na mayroong psychological traits at states na nag-e-exist. Ang trait ay natatangi at matagalang pagkakaiba ng isang individual, habang ang states ay mas maikli ang tagal. Ang construct ay isang scientific concept para mailarawan ang kilos ng tao, habang ang overt behavior ay ang nakikitang aksyon o produkto nito. Ang mga definisyon ng traits at states ay tumutukoy sa pagkakaiba ng bawat individual. Assumption 2. Psychological trait and states can be qualified and measured. Having acknowledged that psychological traits and states do exist, the scientific traits and states to be measured and quantified needs to be carefully defined. Assumption 3. Test-related behavior predicts non-test-related behavior. Patterns of any two true or false questions on one widely used test or personality are used in decision-making regarding mental disorders. The test insights mimic the actual behaviors that the test user is attempting to understand. The obtained sample of behavior is typically used to make predictions about future behavior. Sa assumption 2, ang assumption 2 ay nagsasaad ng psychological traits at states ay maaaring masukat at sukatin sa pamamagitan ng maingat na pagtukoy at paglalarawan ng mga ito. While in assumption 3, ang assumption 3 ay nagpapahayag na ang pag-uugali sa pagsusulit ay maaaring magbigay ng prediksyon sa di pag-uugaling may kaugnayan sa pagsusulit. Ito ay pinapakita sa pamamagitan ng mga sagot sa mga tanong sa pagsusulit ng personalidad na ginagamit sa pagdedesisyon ukol sa mga sakit sa isipan, pagmamamanman sa mga gawin ng tao at paggamit ng mga sampol ng kilos upang magbigay ng prediksyon sa hinaharap na pag-uugali. Let's move to assumption 4. Assumption 4, tests and other measurement techniques have strengths and weaknesses. Competent test users understand and appreciate the limitations of the tests they use as well as how those limitations might be compensated for by data from other sources. In assumption 5, various sources of error are part of the assessment process. Error traditionally refers to something more than expected. It is actually a component of the measured process. More scientifically, error refers for a long-standing assumptions that factors other than what a test attempts to measure will influence performance on the test. Sa assumption 4 ay nagpapahayag ng mga test at iba pang mga teknik ng pagsusukat ay may mga kalakasan at kahinaan at mahalaga para sa mga kompetenteng gumagamit ng pagsusulit na mga maunawaan at tanggapin ang mga limitasyon ng mga pagsusulit na kanilang ginagamit at kung paano maaaring mapunan ang mga ito gamit ang data mula sa iba't ibang pinagkukunan. Assumption 5. Ang Assumption 5 ay nagpapayag ng iba't ibang pinagmulan ng error ay bahagi ng proseso ng pagsusuri at ito ay tumutukoy sa mga hindi inasang pagkakamali na maaaring maging bahagi ng proseso ng pagsusukat at maaaring makaapekto sa performance sa pagsusulit. Assumption 6. Testing and assessment can be conducted in a fair and unbiased manner. One source of fairness-related problems is the test user who attempts to use a particular test with people whose background and experience are different from the background and experience of people for whom the test was intended. So in short, in Assumption 6, we have to be fair and avoid bias. Assumption 7. Testing and assessment benefit society. In a world without tests or other assessment procedures, personnel might be hired on the basis of nepotism rather than documented merit. Ang Assumption 7 ay nagpapahayag na ang pagsusulit at pagsusuri ay mayroong pakinabang sa lipunan. Sa iba pang paraan ng pagsusuri, ang mga tauhan ay maaaring mahar batay sa pamilya o koneksyon kaysa sa tunay na kakayahan o merito na naitala. So let's move to what is a good test. Psychometric soundness of tests. There are two keys. The first one is reliability. It involves the consistency of the measuring tools, the precision with which the test measures, and the extent to which error is present in measurements. In theory, the perfectly reliable will consistently measure in the same way. The second one is the validity. Validity is a test is considered valid for a particular purpose if it does, in fact, measure what it is purports to measure. So sa reliability, ang isang perpektong maasahang pagsusulit ay laging pare-pareho ang mga resulta nito. So in short, it is consistent dapat. So in validity naman, ang isang pagsusulit ay tinuturing na wasto para sa particular na layunin kung ito ay tunay na sumusukat ng kung ano ang sinasadya nitong sukatin. In other considerations, a good test is one that trained examiners can administer, score, and interpret with a minimum of difficulty. A good test is useful test, one that yields actionable results that will ultimately benefit individual test takers or society at large. Let's move to norms. Norm reference testing and assessment. Method of evaluation and a way of deriving meaning from test scores by evaluating an individual test taker's score and comparing it to scores of a group test takers. Individual test score is understood relative to underscores on the same test. Norms test performance data of a particular group of test takers that are designed for a use as reference when evaluating or interpreting individual test scores. In norm reference testing and assessment, sa pamamagitan ng pagsusuri ng isang individual na resulta, ito ay naunawaan batay sa iba pang resulta mula sa parehong pagsusulit. Sa norms naman, sa madaling salita, sa pamamagitan ng norm reference testing, ang resulta ng bawat individual ay inuugnay at ini-interpret bilang bahagi ng resulta ng mas malawak na grupo ng mga kumukuha ng pagsusulit. Normative sample group of people whose performance on a particular test is analyzed for a reference in evaluating the performance of individual test takers. Norming, process of deriving norms. The race norming naman is the practice of adjusting test scores to account for the race or ethnicity of the test taker. User norms or program norms consist of descriptive statistic based on group of test takers in which period of time rather than norms obtained by formal sampling methods, which is according to Nelson, year 1994. Ang normative sample ay isang grupo ng mga tao kung saan ang pagganap nila sa isang partikular na pagsusulit ay ini-analyze para maging batayan sa pag-evaluate ng pagganap ng bawat individual na kumuha ng pagsusulit. Ang norming naman ay ang proseso ng pagbuo ng mga pamantayan o batayan. So, race norming, ito ay isang praktika ng pag-adjust ng mga resulta ng pagsusulit upang isaalang-alang ang lahi o etnisidad ng kumukuha ng pagsusulit. Sa user norms o program norms, ito ay binubuo ng mga descriptive statistic na batay sa grupo ng mga kumukuha ng pagsusulit sa isang tiyak na panahon kaysa sa mga pamantayan na nakuha sa pamamagitan ng formal na pamamaraan ng pagsampling. Ito ay nagsasaad ng impormasyon ukol sa grupo ng mga kumukuha ng pagsusulit sa tiyak na panahon na maaaring gamitin o pag-evaluate o interpretasyon ng resulta ng bawat individual na kumukuha ng pagsusulit. So, next will be discuss sampling to develop. The first one is standardization or test standardization. Standardization or test standardization is the process of establishing and implementing consistent standards or formats in the development and administration of tests to ensure the reliability and validity of the tests. The second one is the sampling. Sampling is the process of selecting a representative group from a larger population to gather the necessary information or data from analysis of research. The third one is sample of population. A sample of a population is a small group of individuals taken from the entire population to be representative and serve as the basis for analysis or study. So, in sampling, representative group from a larger population naman. Pero sa sample of population is a small group of individuals. So let's move to the fourth one, stratified sampling. Stratified sampling is a method of sampling where the population is divided into homogeneous subgroups or strata, and samples are taken from each stratum. The fifth one is stratified random sampling. This is a type of sampling where the target population is divided into homogeneous segments or strata, and then a simple random sample is taken from each segment. The sixth one is purposive sample. A purposive sample is a type of non-probability sampling where units are selected based on specific characteristics needed for the study's purpose. The last one is this incidental sample or convenience sample. An incidental sample or convenience sample is a type of non-probability sampling where subjects are chosen based on their easy accessibility or availability for research purposes. Types of norms. Percentile norms are the raw data from a test standardization sample converted to percentile form. Percentage correct refers to the distribution of raw scores. Age norms, age equivalent scores, indicate the average performance of different sample test takers who were at various age at the time test was admitted. Grade norms, designed to indicate the average test performance of test takers in a given school grade. National norms, derived from a normative sample that was national representative of the population at the time the norming study was conducted. National anchor norms provide some stability to test scores by anchoring them to other test scores. Subgroups. Subgroup norms. Ang subgroup norms ay ang mga pamantayan o batayan sa pagganap ng isang particular na subgroup sa loob ng isang mas malawak na populasyon o sample na naglalayong magbigay ng mas detalyadong impormasyon ukol sa pagganap ng naturang subgroup sa pagsusulit. Local norms, typically developed by test users themselves, provide normative information with respect to the local population's performance on some tests. So after the types of norms, we have here the normative sample and normative data. Normative sample is the group of people whose performance on a particular test is analyzed for reference in evaluating the performance of individual test takers, while the normative data provide a standard with which results of measurement can be compared. Normative sample ay ang grupo ng mga tao kung saan ang pagganap nila sa isang partikular na pagsusulit ay ina-analyze para maging batayan sa pagsusuri o pagganap ng bawat individual na kumukuha ng pagsusulit. Samantalang ang normative data ay magbibigay ng pamantayan kung saan maihahambing ang mga resulta ng pagsusukat. Dumako naman tayo sa norm reference testing and assessment versus criterion reference testing and assessment. Norm reference testing and assessment is a method of evaluation and a way of deriving meaning from test scores by evaluating an individual test taker's scores and comparing it to the scores of a group of test taker. Well, the criterion reference testing and assessment may be defined as the method of evaluation and a way of deriving meaning from test scores by evaluating an individual scores with reference to a set standard. Ang non-reference testing and assessment ay isang paraan ng pagsusuri at pagtutukoy ng kahulugan mula sa mga resulta ng pagsusulit sa pamamagitan ng pag-evaluate ng isang individual na kumukuha ng pagsusulit at paghahambing ng mga resulta ng isang grupo ng mga kumukuha ng pagsusulit. Samantalang ang criterion reference testing and assessment ay isang paraan ng pagsusuri at pagtukoy ng kahulugan mula sa mga resulta ng pagsusulit sa pamamagitan ng pag-evaluate ng score ng isang individual at paghahambing dito sa isang itinakdang pamantayan. So, last will be discuss culture and inference. So, in selecting a test for a user, the responsible test does some advanced research on the test available norms to check on how appropriate they are for use with the targeted test taker population. In interpreting data from psychological tests, it is frequently helpful to know about the culture of the test taker, including something about the era or times that the test taker experienced. So, okay, that's the end of my presentation. I hope you like it and thank you for listening. God bless.